And it is 11 o'clock in this Wednesday, 1st of April, April's Fool, which is not the same in every country in the world. We're excited about having, again, a webinar during this time for the Hispanic recovery, for the Hispanic response and recovery plan, a platform, a clearinghouse for information and action. We're bringing every day at 11 o'clock for 20 minutes, legendary experts on the matter that will help our community to be informed, to be educated, and to be entertained during this time of COVID-19. Today, it is my absolute pleasure to receiving Luis Miguel Messianu, who is going to be talking to us about the power of creativity, how purpose-driven campaigns, how the power of creativity can be harnessed around, particularly in a time like COVID-19. And I would like to ask Luis Miguel Messianu, Creative Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of Alma, some of the best advice and tips on how to incentivize the creative industry to act now in a time for COVID to benefit our community. Luis Miguel, thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you, Claudia, for inviting me. Thank you, Michelle, for putting it together. When I saw the dates, I said, is this for real, being April's Fool? But I guess we're living a very different April Fool's this day. Just a quick intro. As I was telling Claudia and Michelle, I put together this presentation just for this specific session. It's nothing but a point of view. I think we're all learning as we speak, as we go. I think I would say that hope and togetherness are the best vaccine against the virus. What I'll share with you is first perspective, a global perspective. Alma is fortunate because we're part of a very strong network of agencies. And I drew from information that agencies like Africa and Brazil and Adam and Eve in the UK have put together. We're in constant communication. So I'll run through some of the slides just to give you a backdrop. And then I'll get into more specifically how this pandemic is affecting us, affecting our communities. What can we do? One thing is for sure, and I think there's a lot of conversations out there. Like me, you're probably being bombarded by emails that have created a new landscape. They all say, these are unprecedented times. They all say we're there for you. But I think this is a time to do more and say less. I think we're moving from storytelling into story doing. Without stealing my own thunder, I think it's important for brands to remain active. The worst mistake that brands can make is go dark. I think the way to reactivate the economy is for us to show that we're present, that we're caring for our customers, we're caring for our people, and we'll come out of this probably stronger. But again, there's no playbook, there's no manual. This is only a point of view. In times of crisis, and this was published by Ad Age, in times of crisis, people rely on leaders and institutions. And customers are looking for information from brands and companies. But regardless of the approach, we'll have major behavioral changes. These are 12 trends that we have identified. Let me just, there's going to be several. Some of them have to do with society. The others affect our everyday life. And of course, sustainability will become a very hot topic. There's going to be a battle for privacy. I think if we have to make a choice between privacy and health, obviously we'll choose health, but governments are going to leverage this to establish new ways of surveillance. And I think China is a very good example. And I think we're going to be less polarized. I think if anything, this crisis has brought us all together. And I think we're going to see that, you know, people are not going to be as polarized. We're going to be rebuilding trust. And I think the new heroes are the doctors, the medical personnel who are in the front lines, really risking their lives to save ours. So I think the athletes are not as big as doctors these days. And I think as part of this rebalance, we're going to see a lot of changes. We're going to be less individual. We're going to have a stronger sense of community. There's going to be new forms of communities, and there's been a lot of talk, you know, around what happened with HIV, with AIDS, and how it brought together this community. We feel that it's going to be very similar. You know, we're going to see new forms of communities. There's going to be more generosity, more empathy, and I think we're already seeing it. We're already feeling it. There's a lot of compassion out there, and we're starting to see some new campaigns. Facebook launched a beautiful spot yesterday through Droga 5, and you know, the reality is that it focuses on faces. You know, these days we're looking at each other's face, and I think we're in it together. There's going to be also some social and political backlash. I think you know, politicians are going to be running naked, and they're going to be exposed in terms of what they're doing right and what they're not doing so well. And there's going to be a new work logic. Even as recent as this morning, I was having my management conversation with a network, and we're already talking about a new way of looking at real estate. I think the office space is going to be re-engineered. I think offices are going to be almost like what happened after 9/11 with travel. Will never work the same way again, because you know, this pandemic has proven that we can be together even if we're alone in our homes. There's going to be a need for fun. You know, I'm sure we're all longing for companionship, for indulgence, for leisure, and I think you know, entertainment is gonna evolve, and you know, there's going to be a return to the art of cooking. You know, we're already seeing it. I'm seeing it here at home. We're less dependent on the, you know, restaurants and even, you know, takeout or delivery, even though McDonald's, who's one of our largest clients, has really made a great effort to focus on the, you know, a new way of interacting with consumers. Public spaces are going to be different. You know, obviously, social distancing will have an effect as we move forward, but we're going to appreciate public spaces probably even more. And we're going to look at our universe and our Earth in different ways. And I think, you know, the planet is trying to tell us something, and we're going to look at this, you know, protection with you know, very, very different eyes. And in the near future, you know, what are the wishes for the post-quarantine? Obviously, you know, physical contact and reunions. This is from Instagram. We are all looking, you know, to embrace, to hug, especially as Latinos. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's already a hashtag to do tomorrow on Instagram. You know, this is, you know, a great venue for our immediate dreams and hopes and wishes. The big watch out, especially for brands and for people in the marketing industry, this is not a marketing opportunity. We need to capitalize on a conversation, but we have to be transformative, and we have to be a supportive agent, not just a brand that, you know, raises the hand to say, I'm here. I think we've seen some examples with many logos being separated and the backlash. This is a time, again, as I said at the beginning, to do things, to care for our employees, care for our customers, apply creativity in a different way for the benefit of the world. And as a brand, it's important to pay attention to the seriousness of the problem and follow government recommendations from the inside out. We have to, corporate responsibility has changed now to everyone's responsibility, and brands have a mission and they need to be part of our lives, but they need to behave in a very responsible manner. Again, consumers do want to hear from you. Don't go dark. Don't go silent, because in the long run, it's gonna affect you. Right now, and this is research from Adam and Eve in the UK. If you look at the graph, more people want to hear from brands than not. In a way, brands' presence is a way of going back to normalcy. They want to know what you're doing, and there's some great examples, but the majority of them say that they want to see how brands are helping customers. What are they doing to help your own teams, your own people? This is a great opportunity to enhance your sense of purpose, to make sure that you stand for something meaningful. I think all brands that are active and have a clear sense of purpose will come out on top once this is behind us. They're willing to consumers are willing to listen to what you're doing. There's been some great examples. Tesla stands out because they were the first auto manufacturer that changed their production line to work on ventilators. McDonald's is giving medical staff free coffee. Delta is flying medical staff for free. There are many opportunities of making a difference. And it's funny because you would think that consumers don't want to hear about promotions or price-driven initiatives, but they do. They want to hear that you're giving a discount for the benefit of people, that you're giving stuff away, that you care for the world, for your employee base and your customers. I think that the big, if you were going to remember one slide, this is it. There's a difference between being opportune and being opportunistic. Brands have to take some smart risks. We're going to have some missteps, but we have to make sure that this is altruistic, that this is about the people, this is about the world. It's not so much talking to yourself like the examples that we saw. It's about brand acts versus brand ads. What can you do? What are you doing to help the situation? What are you doing to make us leave this behind faster? It's funny because I was thinking in terms of Hispanics or Latinx. We've been called many names, but if you think about it, in most countries, we are children of the crisis. We have to face devaluations, political turmoil, social disturbance. I think Puerto Rico is a recent example. Natural disasters, and here they are, facing the crisis with courage, resilience, with optimism. This is what makes us different, as a community, as a segment, even as multicultural agencies. I think we're better equipped to face, a crisis like we've never seen before. But in a way, we grew up this way. We grew up in crisis. Crisis is part of our DNA, and we're resilient. Another thing that we have to think about is that caregiving is part of our nature. It's how we take care of the elderly, how we take care of our families, our adopted families, which are our friends, especially for immigrants that came to this country. But our culture is very strong. It's very connected. And I can almost assure you that the interaction of the sick and the families, it's going to be different from the rest of the country and the world. We're not going to say goodbye, if we're forced to do that through FaceTime. We'll find a way to stay in touch and stay connected and fight this war together. And my last thinking here is that for us, new beginnings are the norm. New beginnings, after the evaluation, after a national disaster, as immigrants that had to leave everything behind and start all over again. I think we need to stay positive. We need to stay strong and look at the post, coronavirus era as an opportunity to reset, to do things better, to go back to basics in some aspects of our lives, to focus on compassion, to focus on what makes us great as human beings and as brands, of course. I want to close with what I feel it's the best piece of communication I've seen in the last few weeks. Just take a listen.
Are you scared yet? They say this thing, it kills your immune system, attacks your lungs, makes it hard to breathe, and it's spreading. It's spreading like wildfire, causing havoc. Your friends and family are gonna get it if they don't already have it. It's tragic, I tell you, madness. Scientists say old people get it worse, but most get it eventually. They say this is new, but no. This has been around for centuries. Look at history, it's just a different name, a different strain. And now there's no way to contain it. It infects poor, young, old, unknown, famous, it's dangerous. Everyone on edge, locked inside of their homes nervously. Borders are closed, countries declare state of emergencies. Grocery stores are empty, nobody's praying in church. The world has gone to crap. Well, one with toilet paper sold out first. Crashed, out and bled off work. Hand sanitizer was going for $1 million a squirt. You better not sneeze, because no one's gonna say God bless you. They might even arrest you. I don't want to stretch you, but washing your hands excessively in the restroom will not protect you. Friend, about coronavirus. This, the virus even more deadly. This virus, you see it. It spreads every minute like an epidemic. Lives on surfaces, most commonly remote control, TV screens, cellular phones, makes you desperate. Actually, every time you scroll down your feed, you get infected. It invades the brain. You hate it, there's an hatred and blame. China did it, no before Italy did it, no before Iran, no Spain. Oh, I didn't make it clear? And the virus, ladies and gentlemen, it's fear. Don't be afraid. From here or see on the TV, there is good news and tragedy. You fight loneliness, people are performing concerts on the mountains. 280s and 8 they ran. Japan claimed supplies the planet for free. And on them was a poem that said, we are waves from the same sea. Listen to me, like every tragedy, we can let this destroy us. Use it, walk with it, and repair relationships. Sisters and brothers, rip away silly brothers. It's all said and done. All we ever really had in this world was each other. So just let's flatten the curve and expand our hearts. Let's social distance, boost our immune systems, and be mindful where we put our hands. Also, where we put our attention. Be a little not fearful. The virus is a pandemic easily transmitted. If you contract more symptoms, we recommend immediately dial the hotline. Little and friend. If you are exposed to your TV, pay the attention. Decontaminate yourself from hands, laughter, meditation. 2020 has been morbid. And COVID. If you don't change private moments, finally wake up. But what's important? Right now, tell someone that you care for them. Yes, right now, tell them that you cherish them. They're not in the same room, beat them up. Tell them you will always be there for them. Because together is how we will rise above. The only vaccine for this virus and every other virus is love.
Wow, that's a very, very powerful video. And that was a very powerful presentation. Luis Miguel, I want to thank you for that. We have a number of people asking for the link of that, the link of the video, and ideally your presentation. Solve, not sell, is a message that you're giving brands all across. Use this opportunity to get connected by bringing solutions. But I want to also mention one thing, and taking just 2 more minutes, is we know that this is going to be very hard on us. So you and I started a conversation, Luis Miguel, knowing that Hispanics are going to be disproportionately affected today and tomorrow, not only health-wise, but economically. And that we need to recognize that right now the people that are distributing the medicines, that are working in the kitchens, that are still out there, and very, very disproportionately exposed are our people. The people that are running the country today, the people that have been, serving the country and making the country run for centuries have been our people. And I think that they are disproportionately exposed and affected. And that is why unity, being together and being community has never been so important. In that sense, we're trying to unify forces and bring Hispanic leaders together to do something, because as you said, talking is cheap and acting is now, and we need to act together and do something. Do you, Luis Miguel, want to share a little bit about what we have started working on and putting an architecture together so that Hispanics together can join forces, be unified, and mitigate the impact of COVID-19 for our people?
Yes, thank you again. To your point, it has never been a better time to focus on creativity and humanity. When you combine them, we can really make a difference. And together with We Are All Human and Claudia's organization, with the support of CMC, which is the Cultural Marketing Council, and us at Círculo Creativo, with the commitment from Aldo Quevedo, from Gustavo Lauria, and all the regional leaders, we have been in conversations with Claudia, Gerard, and the rest of the team to react fast and to focus on helping those in need. The waiters, the bartenders, the cleaning people, landscaping people, and we're currently developing different efforts to help, from gift cards, from buying a bank of hours, from getting them in touch with the companies that are looking for people. We're developing different strategies and different approaches, because we have a responsibility, and now's the time.
And Luis Miguel, I would say that we would love to invite you, dear audience, dear leaders that are here in this webinar, listen to this, to join us. Join the efforts of Hispanics that are getting together, to act together, to protect ourselves. This is the time for the Hispanic community to be unified, and Luis Miguel, being the guru and the leader that he is leading an incredible effort to change the hearts and minds of people, to create a communication, like a campaign of campaigns, to be able to raise awareness, donations, and support for those that need it the most. So Luis Miguel, I want to thank you again for your leadership, and I just want to give you one last minute to give final thoughts, and say a way in which people can contact you.
Thank you again, Claudia, for this opportunity. I see that we have about 75 participants. Thank you for your time. I think that is the biggest treasure we have these days. And as I said on my last slide, stay strong, stay positive, stay in touch. I think, as Hispanics, we are going to make a difference. So we're going to show this country and show the world that we're all human, we're all special, and we're all stars.
Thank you so very much. Thank you everyone for participating. Luis Miguel, you're a rock star. Thank you so much.